morning. It's Tara here from Recovering Book Quarter. At least it's morning for me, kind of. It's like 11 o'clock. I am here to bring you my weekly roundup. I actually think this might be a pretty short one today because although I made a lot of progress, I didn't touch a whole lot, which I will explain why here as we go. I totally did not add up how many stitches I had this week, so I'm just going to put up here my total stitches for the week. I know that there was quite a few. I have 0 finishes. I have 3 new starts for this week, and then I touched 3 additional projects. So let's check out my new starts. First up was my planned start for the week. That's my New Start Sunday. And this week's call was for Charlotte Faubescher. It is out of the book Historic Samplers. And I'm going to tell you about Charlotte. I feel like as I'm stitching this, I am learning about Charlotte. So I kind of love her. This is the actual chart. Well, you know, the picture of the chart. And I did read to you guys a little bit about her last week, but I'll tell you what I've learned about her since then. So first, let me show you the project. I am doing this on 20 count Mossy Green by Zweigart. And I am doing my own conversion. I did a random pull from my color cubes. And this is what the color palette ended up being, which is beautiful. So I actually used the back more than I used the front this time with different gradients of the colors. And I got 1,628 stitches done on Charlotte. So this is where I finished. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the alphabet. So all of the alphabets in here, I am doing with Dying for Sass. It's the colorway Citrus. I got this as part of the Dying for Sass Patreon group. It was one of her monthly picks. It's called It's called Citrus. But the whole time I'm working on this, all I can think about is like the original Skittles. I feel like it should be called Original Skittles. It's literally the exact same colors as is in the original Skittles packet. I love it. So that's the first thing. Okay. I am using a mixture of DMCs, Roxy, Forbidden Fiber, just stuff from Stash. I kitted this up totally from Stash. Charlotte, who was 8, I believe, right? No, Charlotte was 9. And I don't think that Charlotte much cared for stitching, in all honesty. Charlotte made a lot of errors, and she only would frog if she was told she had to keep from getting in trouble. And sometimes she would accidentally cut her linen because she just didn't care, and then she'd have to fix the linen, and then her corrections she would do in like completely incorrect colors that didn't match where she was making her correction at all. So I'll show you some of the things she did. Some of her mistakes I'm leaving, and how she like fudged things is so funny. So you can see up here where she just did some miscounting and like dropped some stitches altogether. Some miscounting in her border. You can see that there's like this section right here, totally miscounted for that. Her alphabet, she has, I think there was some issues with sizing. So we have an I, then a J, then another I, and then we have 2 S's in a row here. We threw in an ampersand, I think just because we needed to even it out a little bit. So that's so far with Charlotte. I think I would have really enjoyed Charlotte's personality a lot in real life. I mean, she was only 9, and I think sometimes we see these really, really perfect samplers from, you know, 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds. And I think that the sense that I get is that Charlotte, they knew they needed to teach her how to stitch. I don't know that it was a huge priority because they really didn't care whether or not it was perfect or not. A couple other things from this sampler that I have learned from the book. Each of the flowers in her border, no, I'm not doing the same colors. I'm doing my own colors, obviously. But so whenever she did it, the flowers in the side borders, they varied just slightly. They progressed from a dark brown at the bottom to a light brown at the top. The ground, which they felt grounded the design while giving the ornate figures the effect of an almost spiritual lightness. Though overall the look of this sampler is ornate, the 2 stars, which quilters call simple or variable stars, are reminiscent of simple country piecework. Like many traditional folk designers, however, motifs like this are also found on ancient Asian cultures. And that would be these, the stars down there. I don't know if you want to see the gradients of how she did the flowers on the side there. And the last little piece of trivia, Charlotte was not shy about exposing her mistakes. When she accidentally clipped threads, she sometimes mended them with different colors, such as this bright yellow one. So let me see if you can see that, how she did that mending. So this is fun. Just honestly, like, getting to know Charlotte is a lot of fun, and I really wish I could have known Charlotte in real life. She's, I'm sure, no longer here. Okay, so that was my new Sunday start. Then I started for Sheldon and Stitches for his birthday. His birthday was March 4th, and he started a Plum Street. I think it was Cinnamon House, I think it's called. So I decided to start a Plum Street also from Stash for his birthday. And so I picked Toil and Trouble. And I did do a conversion to Stash for this also. I'm trying really hard, unless it's like absolutely necessary, I'm trying to, any unplanned new starts or anything I hadn't already kitted up, I'm trying to do from Stash. So I went into my stash and I had from a Black Friday mystery box from Volcano Stitching, which has absolutely beautiful fabric. I had gotten a 16 count Ada called, no name, because like I said, it was a mystery box, but check out. That is the color. Isn't that beautiful? And I thought it was kind of perfect for this. So I did 675 stitches for this new start. Take you in to see. And you can't really tell on camera, but there is actually 2 different colors there. 310, and then there's also espresso bean, I believe, which is like a dark brown. Espresso beans. I'm substituting for 838. And then I pulled all the rest. All the rest are Gentle Arts and Classic Colorworks. I did have some of the called for, so I am using some of the called for because I am part of the Gentle Arts Thread Club through Millennial Fabrics, and so I've been building up a nice stash of Gentle Arts. So I was able to actually use a couple that I had in stash that actually matched, but then the rest I just went through and I picked colors that I thought would go good that are nice variegateds, because if you look at the trees, those trees have really nice variegation. Can we just talk about the house for a second? I want to live in that haunted house. I think it's amazing. Okay. Oops, forgot to put the pattern back. Okay, after that, I decided for Lent this season, I'm going to work on a pattern that was just put out in the this spring, just cross stitch. That is He Is Risen. Looks like this. I think it's the perfect Lent piece. And this is from Franny Ritter Designs. I am doing a conversion to stash. So I started this on the first day of Lent, which was Wednesday. And I am doing this on a piece of 18 count Arctic 18 count Arctic Fox from Fox and Rabbit. I should say I'm in the Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month Club through Garon Stitchery, and I think that is 100% worth it, because there's so many great fabrics you can just go and pull that work for so many of the projects. So I did a total of 774 stitches on this, and that is where I got. And I am using Freak Show from Night Stalker's Calling for the pink, Blue Jay from Gentle Art for the blue, and Sugar Plum, which I think is going to be one I always have in stash because I'm really loving it, from Gentle Arts as well. I think this is a absolutely gorgeous color, and my lighting's doing really good today. This is actually the color of the Sugar Plum. So that'll be one that when I finish it, I do order another. So I always have it here. I have a feeling I'm going to want to use that color in multiple projects. Okay, so those were my new starts for this past week. All right, moving on to progress. So first I did my random roll, and can you believe it landed on freaking Soulmate Sal again? My least favorite stitch I had to work on 2 weeks in a row. So I had landed on 600 for the random roll, and since it was already and I was working, I was like, okay, what else can I use this for? So I ended up using it for categories. I did an additional 200. Categories is through Whip Warriors over on Facebook, which is a closed group right now. I believe it opens in November. But the prompt was human, and the letters this time are S and N. And so I went with soulmates, because humans have soulmates. So went with that for this. And then for I Spy, which is Laura at Stitching by the Shore, I used for, I think time was the prompt. And so this is couples through time. So I figured that would work for that. So a total of 900 stitches on my least favorite project. Least favorite, not because I don't like the pattern, I do, but because I should have chosen different fabric. So here we are. So finished Lucy, who's in there, got her done and all her back stitch, and then worked on Baby and the Baby and Johnny from Dirty Dancing. So when I say couples through time, we've got Fred and Wilma, Hades and Persephone. Here is going to be Sandy and Danny from Grease. And then the last one is actually supposed to be the couple from Bones. I've literally never watched that show ever. And so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to chart out Brian and I's name. It's going to just say like Tara loves Brian. And then I don't know, the year maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's getting close. It's more than 50% done. Oh, I didn't say this. So the fabric, I picked an Ada. I really should have picked an even weave because there's a lot of 3/4 and quarter stitches on here. And they're just, I don't mind 3/4 and quarter stitches. I just really mind them on Ada. They just don't look as good. It hurts my fingers. Just not enjoyable. But on the plus side, I got 900 stitches on a chart that I absolutely want to have done and on my wall, but that I absolutely hate working on. Okay, after that, I pulled out my Anne of the Green Gables. One of the challenges for Whip Warriors this time is called In Like a Lion, Out Like a Lamb. And the goal for that is to put 1,000 stitches into all of your full coverage pieces. So I have 3 full coverage pieces. I'll talk to you about the other 2 in my plans. But so I did do the 1,000 stitches, and then I also did an additional 202 stitches for I Spy. The prompt was something with an A, so obviously A for Anne. And I finally got into Anne a little bit this time. Yeah, almost completed another page. Did pretty much all my work in this area here. Yeah, and doing this on 28 count Charles Craft Monaco that I got from the big box store. And that page is almost done. I really love this. This is Mrs. Pagodi Arts. I didn't even show you guys what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So I really am loving this stitch. I dislike heavy confetti, and that's not the kind of full coverage this is. Like, I'm not a Haid girl at all. I think they're miserable. They're beautiful, but miserable to stitch. I really enjoy this kind of full coverage, and I really enjoy her illustrating style. So, in April, I'm going to be doing, April's my birthday month, April 18th, I turn 44, I think, this year. And so for the month of April, I'm going to focus on starting and working on different Alice in Wonderland projects. And so I know that there's an additional 2 Mrs. Pagodi Arts I want to start. The Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter. And for that, I really want to do all my Mrs. Pagodi Arts on this 28 count Monaco from Charles Craft. I absolutely love it. And that's why they'll all like be the same size, uniform. It's so enjoyable to stitch on. It's like the perfect, not so stiff that like it hurts my fingers, but not so soft that it that the holes get like misshapen if I pull, because I'm a pretty tight stitcher. So I just wanted to see what the options were on Amazon, and I found what I thought was a really good deal. It was a 12 pack of the Monaco Charles Craft 28 count. I can't remember what the size is. It's bigger. I want to say, I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me. I think it's like 20 by 25. So a 12 pack for like $60 after taxes. It was like $63. So it takes it to like $6 a piece, something like that. A little bit more with taxes. So I am going to put, I don't do this often, but I am going to put a link to that through my Amazon store for that 12 pack that I think is a really good deal, down in the description if anyone is interested in picking that up. When I went and got mine, I think there was only, it said there was only 10 packs left, which means after I got mine, there would have been 9. So if you're interested, that link is there. Okay. And then so that was 1,202 stitches on Anne. Then the Whip Warriors event, the Focus event, and the Beat the Modman event started. Those run concurrently, and you're allowed to double dip those, which means that you can use those stitches for both of the events. So the Focus is you get to pick any one of your whips to focus on over that, I think it's a 4-day period. And then Modman, you're take like a beginning picture, and then you can work on as many things as you want to, and all of those stitches count, and your goal is to beat, you pick one of the Modmans, and then your goal is to beat that Modman that's like randomly selected. So I chose Knight and Castle for my focus piece, so I'm using that for both of them. I got a total of 1,752 stitches on here. This is one of my hands down favorite pieces. I love it. Oh, I should show you the picture first, huh? This is charted to be a monochrome piece. This is by Stitching Spell, which I still have to figure out what they're designing as now. I am doing it in all blues and purples, which is my favorite color combination. So here is where I got. Isn't it so pretty? So I am almost done with another complete page. So all my work was in this, like this was the page here. And I also did some additional work in the frame there and here. And actually, oh, I did finish one. So I finished this full page. I need to finish, this one's almost done, this page over here. So let's take you in so you can see the beauty that is this piece. Oh, I love it so much. So yes, I picked an enjoyable stitch for my focus this time. Well, and that I have a very hard time putting down. So I'm gonna continue to work on that for next week. So we'll talk about plans. I'm gonna continue working on this through the end of the focus event. I'm gonna maybe throw in a couple other, well, I am for sure gonna throw it on Sunday. I will be working on this, but very limited because it's New Start Sunday. And for New Start Sunday this time, I'm so excited for this one. I rolled number 1, which is Heartstring Samplery. It is Instead of Sheep, which is from one of the songs in my hands down favorite Christmas movie, White Christmas. And so I am making this much more Christmassy. And I think she does talk about that too in here. Hold on. Okay, yes. So she says, inspiration. I've never been good at sleeping. As far back as my memory goes, I have been wakened easily and have had bouts of sleeplessness bordering on insomnia. Thankfully, I'm able to get the rest I need most nights, and I'm fully aware that many out there have it much worse than me. Those nights when sleep seems unattainable used to be so hard. I would be in tears, but eventually I learned that I would fall back to sleep more quickly, or at least lay in bed more peacefully if my mind was full of pleasant thoughts. I learned to say prayers of thankfulness for the blessings in my life, and now do my most focused praying for others in the wee hours of the morning while they sleep. Count Your Blessings Instead of Sheep is a song written by Irving Berlin in 1954 for the movie White Christmas, in which it was performed by Rosemary Clooney and everyone's favorite crooner, Bing Crosby. As I designed this little sampler around some of the words from the song, I tried to think of fun little things to represent the blessings in life. Flowers, a chicken, a basket of fruit, a house, a pretty dress, scissors for sewing projects, a kitty, a teapot, a really tall cake, chocolate inside. You could always replace a motif or two with blessings of your own. All right, so this is Heartstring Samplery, Beth of Heartstring Samplery. I am not going to replace any motifs, but I am doing a conversion to make this piece very Christmassy. So I chose a piece of 18 count red Aida from Zweigart. So check out this red, very red. And then I did a conversion full of, it's not full of, so I'm adding in some reds, some greens. I've got some purples, blues, gold. Yeah, again, such stuff I had in stash in order to make this more Christmassy. Because to me, it represents the movie White Christmas. So, I am very excited to start this. I've been like anxiously waiting for this one to come up. I don't think I've ever stitched anything on a fabric that's red like this, so I think that'll be fun too. For the focus, no, I'm sorry. Let's talk about In Like a Lion, Out Like a Lamb. So I already did my Anne stitching on that full coverage piece. I have 2 other full coverage pieces. I am doing Lost No More from Greg Olson, which is an old, I want to say it was a DMC gold kit initially. I just have the chart, not the kit. So I'm going to put 1,000 stitches in on that. My other full coverage, so I had 3 full coverages going. My other full coverage I had called Jesus Smiles, and that's another Greg Olson print. I had been unable to find a cross-stitch pattern for that, and I really this last week I've really gone deep and tried to. But I have been wrestling with an ethical dilemma, and I had taken my favorite picture, my favorite portrait that Greg Olson had done. I was calling it Jesus Smiles. I'm not sure what the actual title is, but I used online software to convert that. And I thought that because it's for personal use, I'm not getting any kind of monetary value out of it at all. I thought that was okay. Well, in one of my Facebook groups this past week, there was a massive discussion about the ethics of that. And I think I have fallen on that is unethical to do without the permission of the person who did it. There's a lot of like, well, it's out there, so it's free use, but it's not like it's free clip art or something like that. It's actually a painting that someone did. So I have been working on that. I don't have like a huge amount of progress, but I really wanted to do. I mean, it's like a very confetti heavy, but my favorite picture of Jesus, so I really wanted to do it. But after wrestling with that ethical dilemma, I have decided to UFO it. My thinking behind that is, I mean, I agree with all the reasons why people said, like, really, it's intellectual property theft if I were to continue doing that. So I am going to delete the file off my computer and shred the pattern that I had printed out. But I really respect our cross-stitch designers, and I want them to keep designing. And I have so many legitimate purchased charts that I love and want to stitch that I have made the decision that ethically, I should support the artists that are creating the cross-stitch patterns. And there's just no need for me to use someone else's intellectual property to do a cross-stitch design. So I am UFOing that and getting rid of the chart I had created. So that was my ethical discussion for the day. Okay, I am going to continue on my focus and beat the mom bin with the Knight and Castle. And then the Monopoly numbers were called for this week, and it's for over 2 weeks. Now, I did finish the previous Monopoly with the exception of one, and so I am carrying that over, and I will have to do that over the next 2 weeks. So the projects I will be working on, the carryover, I'll have to do 400 stitches on my temperature bookcase, 300 stitches on Shakespeare quotes, 100 stitches on Deb Calkin, which that's one that I really like to complete a motif fully or an element. So it'll probably be more than 100, but at least 100. 400 stitches on the Morbid Curiosities cabinet. And then 400 stitches on the North Atlantic right whale chart. So over the next 2 weeks, those will get their work on them. Okay, no haul. Like I said, I did get that Charles Craft, but it hasn't come yet, so I don't have it here to show you, that Monaco. It is Nashville, and I'm having such fear of missing out. I wish I could go to Nashville. So I'm living vicariously through my favorite shop, which is Millennial Fabrics, and I did all my pre-orders through them. And then last night, Sarah, who is the owner of Millennial Fabrics, she went live and showed some of the fun things that she had gotten for us. So she picked up some I got a new pair of scissors. I got a thread pack. New pair of scissors. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what else I got. I feel like there's more. And then I think she's going to maybe go live again tonight. I know she is posting things to an album, as she finds them that we can go ahead and claim things. And then those items will, oh, I know, grime guard, new grime guard. I really need a new grime guard because I only have one grime guard and I really want to be able to like wash it every week, but I feel like I'm always stitching. So I figure if I have 2 grime guards, then I can put one in the wash at the end of the week and use the other one and then just swap them out each time. So anyway, living vicariously through Sarah. And it just looks like so much fun. I know that, Nashville's exhausting. That's what everyone says. I think it's probably like Disney exhausting. Disney exhausting is like, you're exhausted by the end of it, but you have so much fun throughout the day that you won't like care that you're exhausted. And then whenever you get home, you want to sleep for like a week. That's what I picture Nashville to be. So really no haul that I have in hand. Whenever, I'm going to wait and go over all of my Nashville purchases once I actually get them in the mail. FlossTubes I am watching. So people I'm watching and I think you should check out. The first is Oh For Pete's Sake. He's another one that has a really good voice. I like his voice, but he also like really gets into details about his stitching. I believe it was video number 2, maybe. He doesn't have a ton out. But I believe it's video number 2. He like goes through all of the stitches that are in his background. And I really loved hearing him talk about each of those. So his floss tubes are really enjoyable. So I'm going to have these people, tagged down below. So you can just click and go straight to them. Another one is Court Designs. She is a pretty new channel. She is also a designer. What I really like about her is she works she goes on tour with with Broadway shows, Broadway musicals and stuff. And so she does a lot of her own designs. I think at least all the designs she has shown so far that she has charted are related back to Broadway musicals. And she also gives a Broadway, like a quick teaching moment about a Broadway show towards the beginning of her videos. And I really love that aspect of it. And it's really cool because she'll chart the, like the poster from the show that she's working on. And then she takes that and she has the cast sign it. And so then she gets that framed, and that's like, I think she's going to do what Laura does, with the scrapbooking. So she's got something she created, the poster from the show, and then the staff sign is almost like an autograph poster. It's very, very cool. So, like watching her a lot. And I think she has, I believe it's either 4 or 5 videos, one of which is a FlossTube Extra where she kits up Mad Tea Party from Bella Filipina, which I'm doing also. And then the last one is Catherine Turnbull. Catherine does a lot of knitting in addition to stitching, and her knitting it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The sweater she has on in this last video that she posted was one of her new finishes, and there's nothing that I don't love about that sweater. She is a very, very talented with knitting. Very good with cross stitch too, but I love to see what she's knitting. I know she does like lessons at her local needle shop or wherever for knitting lessons, and if I was closer, I would totally take some of those lessons from her because her stitching's gorgeous and I have a hard time with knitting. So recommend Catherine Turnbull as well. I actually think that's it. I've got, like, it's been a boring week. Life is lifing. I'm going out to dinner tonight with my mama. I'm taking Cassie to meet friends, but my mom and I are going to sit at a separate table so that they can do their thing and can at least like be there just to, make sure that they're not being crazy, which I know my kid does good, and is very good at tipping. But last time they went out, I know that she was the only one that tipped, which is unacceptable. So I explained to her that if your friends don't tip, then you have to increase your tip, because it is not the waitress's fault that your friends are being cheapskates. So that's the other thing. I want to make sure that the tip is correct for the poor waiter or waitress that's waiting on them. And I think that's about it. My sister-in-law flew in from Germany again last night. I think I'm going to see her tomorrow. Yeah, that's about it. Everything else is, you know, just work and stuff. So, that's all. If there's anywhere that you guys would like to find me, I am sure it's down in the description bar. I do have a Pango store where I put up my books whenever I'm done with them. So if you're interested in used books, I do have a Pango site that is linked down below as well. So, all right. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful week. Let me know what you're stitching on. I really, really do enjoy communicating with you guys down in the comments. So let's talk. All right. I will catch up with you next week. Bye.